Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with today's load prompt, and it's based on the game Blockus, which I know nothing about, and if it had been up to me, I'd have pronounced it Blokus, Blokus. But it's about geometric pieces um, on a grid board, and the objective is for the other players to block you so that you don't get as many joined. They have to join at a corner or touch at a corner. Anyway, it's a sounds like a fascinating game, and I'd like to know more about it. But the story prompt is about a place where you belonged, and the technique prompt is to arrange geometric shapes in a tessellating pattern. So I had to, go over the video and kind of see for myself what a tessellating pattern is. And it's something like when you put hexagons together and join. Hexagons are one of the shapes that you can do that, where there are no gaps, and you form a block that has them joined on a side. So having said all of that, I'm going to tell you the story of this page, and I'll show you kind of what I'm working with. First of all, this is the background, and I created it by bringing in on my laptop, on my MacBook desktop, I brought in this, which is one of the pattern papers in the Under the Sea collection at Scrappy Printables. And this is another of the papers. I put it on a 12 by 12 space on my computer. And then where it ended, I brought in this pattern paper and stretched it so that it was as long as that one, but just kind of out here to the side. And I was going to put some photos along here where it didn't interfere with the seascape here. And then one of the photos that Lisa is the mastermind behind Scrappy Sketch. She is the sketch artist, and she is the one who does all these amazing printables. And her son Johnny is one of my youngest and most ardent subscribers on my YouTube channel, and I kind of communicated with him through his mother for a while, and just I'd always seen her photos or her pages with him, and when she told me that he loved watching my videos, I thought that was wonderful. So when I went to England a couple of years ago, gosh, it's been almost 2 years, about a year and a half ago, I couldn't wait to meet Johnny. So at the Dottie About Flair crop that I went to, he came up and he had a couple of his stuffed fish collection. He's got a much bigger collection now, as you can see here. And he asked me to take a photo of these fish, and then he wanted to scrapbook with me. So the day that he came over, at that time he was with his dad, and so I met Chris, and of course Lisa and I had been kind of scrapping together in the Mind the Scrap world for, I don't know, 6 years maybe. And I don't think I've ever felt as comfortable with people that I was just meeting for the first time as I did that family. And they came over to Adam's house where I was staying, and we scrapped that day using one of Lisa's sketches, and Johnny and I, kind of composing the page. And then we went over to their house it was just absolutely, I felt like and feel like part of the family. It's I get try to keep up on Johnny's activities. He is just absolutely adorable and brilliant. I mean, absolutely brilliant. And Johnny, if you're watching this video, I want to say hi, and you and I will learn about tessellating designs in a minute. So, what I did to get his photo kind of superimposed on my iPhone, I I went to the photo that Lisa sent me, and I kind of hovered over, pressed, on there. It sort of outlined it and gave me an opportunity to save it as a PNG file, which means it has no background. It separated Johnny and a lot of his fish from the background. So I brought that over to my laptop, and when I composed this square paper, I brought that in and sized it so that he's kind of sitting under the sea. And then I'm going to do the tessellating or non-tessellating, because I'm going to have gaps, hexagons here. And so I'm going to build like a seascape in front to get rid of this kind of squared off edge at the end of the photo, and then add some more fish there. So we should have a little bit of fun with this. Johnny, I hope you like it. And I have plans to do another page very similar using the actual photos that were taken. Plus, I converted them to anime. And so I've got the regular version and the anime version. So I'm going to kind of play with those on another page. But this one is for load, and I'm going to go ahead and get started right now. The first thing I'm going to do is put the hexagons on. I'm not going to raise them up on foam because it would be harder to get them to meet that way. But I'm going to start right there and just line it up with that white border. And then we'll see how far down I get. I'm going to do this. And I'm kind of butting them up next to each other, but I'm going to branch out. And this paper, these hexagons were cut from another one of the printable papers from that collection. And it's a bunch of coral on kind of a coral background. But I kind of wanted to reflect the pretty pink that's in this starfish. So I've inked the edges with a picked raspberry, distress oxide. Okay, I'm gonna come back down to here. And if I were gonna do full tessellating, I'd put another one here and keep going like that. But I'm gonna maybe do one out here to the side. I'm going to use these sort of as platforms for some of the cuttable fish and critters. Another one down here. Let me just go ahead and see how far. I didn't bring my punch to the table. I punched these in another room. I want to see how far I can go before I do all that branching out. I don't want to cover this guy. This is one of his fish right here. So I'm going to maybe go out this way here and then come down here. In any case, I think it's going to be kind of cute. I like the look of hexagons always. And I'm going to put this one out over this way. And then what I may do is put my title, which is going to be Under the Sea, right there, and then put some seaweed around it. So I want to put this on some foam, but I don't want it to be as thick as the foam that's going to be on the seaweed or seashells or whatever I put. Oh gosh, I'm having a hard time here. Excuse me. Excuse me while I make a mess. And I will have some journaling on here, but it's not going to be on the front of the page. Okay, now I want to build the seascape that's in front here. This is part of the sofa he was sitting on, so I don't mind covering that up with some seaweed. And I'll do it starting right here. I think that's a good enough place to start. I would never have thought to do this, and I absolutely love it, I have to tell you. I would never have thought to do that without that load prompt. It's just amazing what that challenge always inspires. Okay, I'll underlap that one, and then I want to I'm going to start over here, putting this one down. And this is another fish, and I'm hoping that I have some things arranged around it so that it looks like he's about ready to swim up out from behind some seaweed. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's the picture I'm painting here. And it is so much fun painting pictures with Lisa's printables. These printables on this collection they're all amazing. Every collection she's had is amazing. This one just has my heart. Okay, there. I'm just kind of, when I dry fitted this to see if I had enough, I had everything in very different arrangements. And now I'm just kind of placing things. I didn't even try to memorize that arrangement because I knew I was going to go off on my own and do something different anyway. So these are just kind of more layered this one is kind of open, so I can put it here, and you can still see that his eyes are right behind it. So you can still see that that's a fish. So I'm gonna do it that way, and then kind of where these are, I thought it would be cute to put a little pink crab, don't you think? Let me see if I can get the right foam for that. I want a thicker foam to have it stand out. And my iPhone didn't do a perfect job of this trimming. Pretty much everywhere else looks fine. So I'm going to have some fish approaching him from there. Okay, so there's a little crab right in front of those seaweeds. It's a little bit of a challenge to try to cluster these. It's fun to do, but my problem with clustering always, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is I hate covering up parts of the design. So I don't ever like covering things up, and yet if I go ahead and take the plunge and do it, it usually works out fine. So I'm going to put this fish kind of swimming out of this seaweed, and again kind of disguising that straight line. But I kind of want the eye to show, so I'm going to have it there. Now I need something here, and I have some more seaweed. I've got this one that I thought might be nice there, but it sticks out too much. This is what I may use. Okay. I will prop that up on some foam. This is not, I pulled the foam off with backing and fronting. I'm not sure that that's what that is, but part of what it was stuck on came with it. Okay, so I'm going to do that right there, and then I will add this in kind of interlocked there with the purple coral, and then maybe this I'll put here because I like that, bringing that color over to that side of the page. Okay, and let me get a proper, and I'll try to pull it off without bringing the backing with me. This is such fun, and Johnny, I wish you were here with me working on this, because I'm sure you would have some many more creative ideas. I'm going to put, one of the things that's in this set of printables are these shiny rocks, kind of polished rocks. So I'm going to put one there to kind of cover the bottom of the coral there, have the coral growing up and the seaweed kind of behind that rock. I have another one over here, but I also have a fish that I thought I would try to incorporate over here in the title area. So I'm gonna, I have 3 different thicknesses of foam tape, and I have to judge. Okay, there. And now I have a couple seashells that I wasn't sure I would need them, but I'm gonna fussy cut them really quickly because I want to add them down, kind of disguising the roots of the maybe like right there or even behind. That doesn't work. I need something maybe a little bit smaller. So let's go with this Nautilus shell. It's in a pretty aqua. I also need to tell you, many of you out there know that I've said many times that purple is my favorite color, and it still does make me very happy, but it's not as easy to use as some other colors that I like, but I try to work it in as often as I can. But the color that I've discovered recently makes me the happiest when I see it, and this kind of came from a page I did this morning. Was a that was published this morning. I did it yesterday. Was a digital page by Ginger Scraps, and her page had a really bright turquoise background, kind of like this color, and I absolutely loved it. Made me happy. Well, the supplies I had didn't include any like that kind of background, so I'm gonna see if I can do a starfish there. Yes, that's gonna work, and I will just put some liquid glue on it and let it be propped up by that. So anyway, I made a yellow background. I used a yellow background. So I like it. I like the page. I was happy with how it turned out. But and John would have loved it because that's the color that made him happy. Let me see if I can squeeze that in right there. And I'll put a little glue on it, and I'll stick it under the other things. And I realized that what I was missing was that pretty aqua turquoise, beautiful, bright, gorgeous color. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, just because I'm kind of excited to see how it's going to look, are the fish that are swimming towards Johnny. Kind of up in here. See, these were in the photo, this little stack that were up on kind of, I think, on top of the sofa that he was on. So I'm going to have these close enough that we kind of break that line that Apple, that my iPhone put there on his head. So I have to get all the fish that are pointing that direction, and I don't know that I'm gonna like that too much. I'm gonna put this one behind the yellow one, and I might see if I get a better feeling out of this clownfish. I don't want it to look lined up with that one, is what I'm kind of, that's what's bothering me. that one looks like it's a little further in, swimming up to him. Okay, now I'm going to decorate the hexagons. And I just have a few fish that are swimming in the right direction. And I have this seahorse, and I have an octopus. I'm going to put the seahorse here, I guess. That looks okay. The octopus maybe could go here. I like that. I'll prop him up a little higher, get a little more shadowing underneath. Okay, there. Now I have this. Well, let's do the fish first. We'll do this little blue fish. What these printables have, see, this is the same as this fish. So they'll have, at least we'll have one version that's a little bit smaller, swimming one direction, and another one that's a little larger, swimming in the other direction. And so you can see that with the clownfish.
Dr. Ronald Hall or Sammy Kahn.
Oh, sorry about that. I need to turn that off even when I'm not using my phone to film. Let's see. I'm going to put this one maybe coming off of it more towards the water. And then I'll do the yellow one down here and have him more coming out of this water up onto the hexagon. That's my story and I'm sticking to it, huh, Johnny? Okay, the pretty pink one, and Johnny hates pink. I should say that up front, but your mom, Johnny, your mom did this printable that had this pink starfish, and I'm just going with the flow. And besides, you know I love pink. So let's put this one maybe right there. We've got a blue one here that maybe could go right there, fully in the water there. At one time, when I thought of doing this page, my plan was for every printable creature to be on a hexagon. And I was going to do bigger hexagons. But I'm actually liking this really a lot. So I'm going to put this guy actually smack dab in the middle of that one. And I cut this seashell a minute ago and didn't use it where I wanted to. So I'm going to use it kind of coming up from the title here right onto this hexagon. I'm going to cut some of it off down at the bottom so that it's not, it doesn't cover the fact that that is a hexagon, but it just kind of gives it something of an accent. I have another little polished stone here that I'm going to add in this little spot right here, just to kind of fill that out. And then I have another shell that I could cut, but I don't think I need it. So I'm going to put the pin in my adhesive, and I'm going to take a look at it. I'll let you look with me. There it is. Let me pull it back here. So I've kind of built a little seascape, an undersea scape down here. We've got Johnny and his fish from the photograph. I've got my tessellating.
Dr. Ronald Hall or Sammy Kahn.
I've got to stop that. Sorry about that. It's actually a call I need to take, but I can call them back as soon as I'm done. So anyway, this is that's the guy who's going to do my shoulder replacement, and we're going to talk about rescheduling it after I get my pacemaker, if that is going to happen, and all of those things. So anyway, here are the little fish going. There's my tessellating row or non-tessellating of hexagons, and all of it done. Everything on this page is from the printables from Under the Sea at scrapasketch.com, and I will show you. I printed this set of printables. I got the title from there, but look at those little tags, and look at all of these cute journaling blocks and these things. I didn't have a place to use them on here. Actually, I could have printed these a couple times and made a tessellating arrangement of those. If you put them kind of back to back, it makes a hexagon. So that would have been cool. But no, I used a punch. So thank you for watching. And Johnny, if you're out there, I love you, and I hope to see you one of these days soon. And be good in school. So that's for Lisa. As if I have to tell you, you are an amazing kid. Bye, everyone.